welcome to another live stream. Today is Monday. It's the 5th of February, and today I'm going to be carving on this basswood statue. This is something that I'm thinking about doing in the future here, and I'd love to get your opinion on it. If you guys have any thoughts, coming on live once a week on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If that something appeals to you, then definitely comment in the video below. Would love to hear from you guys. But anyway, so today I'm going to be carving in this basswood. It's a big chunk of basswood. It's probably, I'm going to say, maybe 16 inches wide by, gosh, goodness knows, 3 feet long or so, maybe 3.5 feet. So it's a nice wide chunk of basswood, and I'd also love your feedback on whether or not you prefer it in the vertical profile or in the straight up and down profile. So would love to hear that. Anyway, just getting the camera set up here. Morning, guys. All right, so I'm going to get this a little bit closer to the old carving. I'll lower this a bit. All right, so today I'm going to be putzing around for a while on this thing. I don't have my reference photo with me. I might have to pull that up. How are you guys doing? This is an older carving that I started in the summer of this past year, and I haven't really done much with. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to working on it. I've kind of had it sitting around. It's sort of a hobby project in a way. It's like something that I haven't been super focused on finishing, but I do need to finish. So here we are. I don't need to. I kind of want to. So excuse me as I look for pictures. Hello. Bonjour. Pulling up a couple of references. Let's see, are they showing up? Are they going to show up? Of course not. I'm live streaming. Of course they won't show up. Okay. I'll just pull something up here. All right. How are you guys? Yeah, I would love your feedback. I'm considering doing these live streams in this horizontal format instead of the vertical one because it seems that the playback, it's annoying for me to have to watch the playback in up and down vertical mode. So anyway, that's my thought. I don't know what you guys think, but Craig says vertical. I got horizontal. Okay, we're tied. Good morning. This carving almost reminds me of a mermaid. Leaving some flowers in there, and I've even got a bird hiding. Can't really see it over here yet, but it'll be showing up here shortly. Yes. So look through some comments here. Come on. Good morning from Springfield. Morning, brother man. Elias, how you doing? Craig, Tyson, thank you. Hello from France. I like the horizontal. Yep. Sorry, I don't speak English. You're good. Actually, horizontal makes more sense. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much a unanimous vote for liking it this way better. Get a little bit more out of it. If, since it's, especially in this type of a carving, this nice wide carving, wouldn't make any sense to do vertical. But. Working on YouTube today. I'm gonna do a kind of a batch of videos that'll be posted in the next coming 2 weeks. But I just thought I would go live, get a little carving done. It's always nice to do some carving when you spend the day making content, or any sort of admin stuff. It's really nice to just pick up the carving tools, because I don't know what it is about me. Maybe it's because I grew up at, carving, and that's kind of the main way that I have made my living as an adult for the last, how long have I been an adult? 11 years? And it doesn't feel like work to do anything else. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that, I don't feel productive. I have this problem now. Unless I'm carving, I don't feel like I'm being productive. And it's not true anymore, but it's, because there are other aspects of being an artist than just the art itself. Unless you've hired out someone to do the other things. And so that's not the right way of thinking. It is productive to do, administration stuff. It's productive to do all those things, so long as it's still your responsibility to do those. You haven't gotten other people to help you, and so. Anyway, it just gives me an excuse to do some carving this morning. So thanks for joining me, and I hope that you guys, if you have any questions at all or comments, or I don't know, the way this goes. So anyway, my name is Alec. I've been a wood carver for, 18 years, something like that. I've been teaching carving for the past 13 or so years, 14 years. See, 29. I started teaching when I was 16, so yeah, 13 years. And I've loved it. I've loved teaching, and I love demonstrating, and I love, youngest child problems. I enjoy it. And so today I'm just, as I said earlier, I'm just finishing up this big basswood carving that had sitting in the shop for the better part of last year, and just haven't really had a lot of, I haven't really taken the time to finish it, and so here I am working on it with you guys. So if you guys give me an excuse to work on fun things, that's what I want to be doing. But sometimes you focus on the other projects that are more pressing, and so this one is definitely for fun. This is just a project that I'm just doing out of enjoyment, and it's basswood. It's very soft. It's easy to work. Basswood. Hey Hunter, hope you're doing well. How did you turn carving into a full-time business? I'm relatively new at carving. Full-time would be a dream come true. Thank you, Emily. I was going to ask if you ever got bored. Okay. In French, please. Just because my last name is French doesn't mean that I speak French. I almost said France. How embarrassing is that? Doesn't mean I speak French. And so, what a bummer though, right? I wish I was a polyglot. Isn't that the word for it? Barely speak English. See, how do you expect me to speak French? I don't speak English too well. Do I get bored? I'll answer that quick, and then I'll get to you, Hunter. I think that's a good question. Do I get bored carving? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people, I mean, gosh, think of your absolute favorite thing to do, right? Whatever that is. If you do that every day for 8 hours a day, or even for a large part of your day, eventually that's going to get old, right? I mean, that's just the nature of humanity, as we kind of we both avoid change and at the same time crave it. And so for me, there are definitely times where I don't feel like carving, but one of the things that's interesting about that is when I get into the actual carving itself, I almost always enjoy it. Enjoy the process of it. There are times where things aren't going right and I don't have a vision for it, but when I stick to a project, it almost always ends up being mostly ends up being satisfying and enjoyable. So, and that's the thing about carving, is it can always be, you can carve, there's so many things, there's no limit of things to carve, and so whether that's themes, different ideas to represent, whether that's different types of wood to carve in. And so for me, it is difficult to, if I'm bored, it's my fault. You know what I mean? It's not carving's fault. It's I'm the boring one. I'm the one who's not imaginative enough to come up with an idea that captivates me. So it's my fault if I'm bored. It shouldn't be. It's not wood carving's fault. If I can personify wood carving. This is a glue up. At Dave. Hey Dave. Is there a way to see the different projects on your online school? I will. That's a really good point. I have a list that I usually email to people, so you can shoot me an email. But I may create a running list of the current projects on the splash page of the website. Which he's talking about my school. I have an online school of carving, and that's kind of the main way I teach carving. I do a lot of free stuff on YouTube as well, free to consumer stuff. But I also have an online school, and that's part of the way that I teach. And interestingly enough, I'm actually creating a school of sculpture and actually of other art forms for kids. So it's the running name is Fine Arts for Kids, and it's going to be, hopefully it's going to be going live hopefully in the next by the end of the year. And so right now we're just thankfully I've been in this art community for long enough to where I have friends who are in almost every area of art, and so many of them are teachers, and so I'm looking forward to launching that soon. For those of you with kids, and for those of you who want to get your kids involved in fine arts, and at an early age, and so I'm filming for that. But anyway, I digress. That's not what you asked about. You were asking about if you can see the projects. Not right now, currently, but I will create a note. I think that's a great idea to just have on the website. So thanks for that. I drive a bus in Marcel. That's cool. Hopefully you're not driving while you're watching this. Thank you, Tyson. Yeah, so Dave, this is a glue up. Oh yeah, okay. Hunter's question about full-time business. Let's talk about that for a minute. I don't want to go too far into the weeds with this, but I am going to create. I may even create a series of videos on business, art business. Because I've learned an incredible amount from being incredibly dumb. I am, I've made just about every mistake you can make in the world of art, and I've just been as stupid as you could possibly imagine wanting to be in this world of art, and I can offer some advice based on making those mistakes, and then I'm coming out of those mistakes and ignorant, decision making now, and so I can definitely offer some wisdom, at least enough wisdom to get you out of making horrible decisions and get you into establishing a profitable business in art. And so yeah, I'm being vague, but the point is that I have a desire to do that, and I have the ability to do that. And so my background is in business as well, as far as education, so that's something that is obviously relevant enough to me to pursue it in school. So there's some interest there, and yeah, so teaching that is definitely in the future for me. But yeah, tips for doing this as a business. I mean, first and foremost is patience, because and maybe before that, consistency. Those two are right next to one another: patience and consistency. And the reason I say patience is that it takes the average artist about 10 years before they make a considerable income. So you probably should best keep it in the realm, unless you've been carving already or doing art for the past 10 years at a high level, or with a lot of frequency. I mean, not necessarily as being a professional for 10 years. You probably will need to have a side hustle or a main gig while you're pursuing making art your career, having a backup plan. I didn't have as much of a backup plan because I was young enough to get involved in carving. I put those 10 years in before I was very old, and so I was able to live with my parents. I was able to, not make an amazing living for most of the time that I carved. And so that, starting really young afforded me the opportunity to work hard at it and not worry as much about the main source of income. But most people do have to worry about that. And so, my suggestion to folks is that they hold on to that consistent job if they can manage it. If not, find a job that maybe requires a less emotional energy that they can then invest the rest of their time, available time, into their art form. So and then consistency, because most people give up. I hear, one of the things I hear most often from people who want to start their own business, but they just don't have the, I don't know what it is. They have excuses, is what they have, and those excuses are often, well, everyone else, I know there's hundreds and hundreds of other people who are doing that already. And that's dismissive in a sense, because that's a very convenient truth. It is true, but it also is a truth that disallows you from pursuing the thing that you want to do. Not saying everyone has to do it, but if you really feel the desire to do it, you will have a dedication. You must have a dedication. You won't necessarily have it, but you have to have a dedication that at least says, I'm going to work on it every day, and I'm going to grow and improve. And that just makes everything, so it just solves so many problems as a business person, not only as an artist, but as a business person. Just having that deciding you'll stick to something and spending the necessary time to develop the skills. I mean, these are such obvious things, right? So, but they bear repeating, because not everyone has the stick-to-itiveness or the ability to pursue, consistently every day, pursue the things that they enjoy, and try to turn that into a business. That's a really difficult task. So don't undermine that challenge. It is a real challenge, but. So I'm just working on these flowers. Any tips on spatial visualization? Wow. Any tips on saying that word? I sometimes struggle with relative sizing of parts of a piece. Oh my gosh. I have the exact same struggle sometimes. Yeah. So for instance, I did a carving. I don't know if I have it. Let me find it. I did a carving of a bird and a tree, and I realized after I started detailing the sucker that the bird is way too big for the face. I mean, this is a finch from freaking hell. This is like a steroid finch, right? Compared to that face. This is a half-size face. Here's my hand. So 4.5 inches tall. Although it's very narrow, this bird is twice the size of the bird it should be, because it's life size and this is half life size. So yeah, I mean, just as a way of showing you that I make mistakes, and they matter to me. I'm not saying it's not important, but to your your customer isn't necessarily going to go, wow, I could never see myself owning that piece because everything's out of proportion. You know what I mean? So I'm not dismissing the mistake, but I'm saying I make the same mistakes. But that's not what you asked. Really, the best thing that you can do, and the reason I made that mistake is that I didn't do a sketch beforehand. You know, if you're doing a design you haven't done before, a really quick thumbnail sketch will give you the basics of the proportions, the symmetry of the whole thing, the basic outline of it, the design, and you can have those thoughts, you know, of sizing and proportion, symmetry, before you dig into the wood and make an irreversible mistake. It's very easy to erase something, pencil and paper, on a little thumbnail sketch, but it's difficult to do that with a carving once you've already spent, you know, hypothetically speaking, 30 minutes detailing a bird that's way too big for the portrait that you've got it next to. So and sometimes it takes friends to talk you off of those cliffs where you're like, oh, I gotta start over with this one, the sizing is all wrong, and then you realize, no, I mean, most people will really enjoy this piece even with the sizing issues. So yeah, but the best way to avoid that, definitely drawing gets you thinking before, you know, you make any big movements with, you know, in the wood. Avon Lake Historical Society is asking if I do any in-person classes. Yeah, I do. This year, I just opened up a workshop. It's sold out, but eventually, you know, kind of running it as a tester to see how it goes. You know, I kind of made it affordable. You know, considering it's like a 3-person class. It's like basically a, you know, right next to a private 3-day workshop, and out of my studio. But I do want to hold other workshops in larger spaces in the future. And I traveled and I taught for many years, but you know, the point I'm making here is, unless it's close by, you know, I'm prioritizing this year. I'm prioritizing staying home, focusing on work, focusing on carving, and I will be teaching locally. That said, it is possible. So definitely DM me. You can. My email is my name, Alec at LaCasse.cc. Sorry, whoa, that's a throwback. That's my old email from like 15 years ago. Wow. Alec, ALEC, at ALEC, again, LACASSE.com. So that's ALEC at ALEC LACASSE.com is my email. And you can comment again if you didn't get that. I can just post it in the comments after this video, but yeah, you can send a request there. That would be amazing on the front of my boat. Yeah. Thanks, I'd like to register for your next one. Yeah, I'll eventually be posting about that. Yep, schedule for a live demo. Oh, you mean a live demo on YouTube? I'm considering, if you guys support this, and it's ultimately what I'm saying is, if you guys enjoy this, I'm gonna do this more often. But if you don't, I'm basically just judging it based on the comments and feedback that I'm getting from you guys. But if you enjoy this, you know, I'd consider doing a series of these live streams on Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern. So I'm just kind of throwing it out there and seeing what happens. But art business series would be fire. Cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Awesome to see real-time progress of such a beautiful piece. Reminds me to stay patient. Thank you very much. So cool. I enjoy it. I sneak to watch while working from home. There you go, Naughty Boots. As long as your work is not driving a bus, and you're not currently driving a bus, like somebody in this live stream. No, I'm just teasing. How often do you get yelled at for getting wood chips all over the house? My wife's used to it now, but yeah, at first it was like all of her clothes would get wood chips on them from being in the same wash as me. Luckily, I have a separate building, so that helps. It's not like really bad. The bigger problem is tracking mud and dirt and stuff in the house. But yeah. pretty often I get yelled at though. Well, I don't know, not anymore. Like I said, it's more of a thing of the past. I try and shake my clothes off outside before I bring them in. But yeah, she's used to it. I mean, there's a lot of once you're married to a wood carver for a couple of years, I mean, it's almost like the dust becomes part and parcel of doing this. Thanks, Dave. He says he's in for the live sessions. He thinks it's a great idea. What age did I start as a sculptor? I mean, I wouldn't say I was definitely not a sculptor, but I started carving when I was 12, and I pursued it. You know, I loved it. It was like my obsession at that age. So. And I was homeschooled, so I had a lot of free time to work on it. I mean, I got my schoolwork done by noon, and then I'd go into the shop and work. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Tina. She says she's learned so much from me over the years. That's super nice. Appreciate that. Tina's an amazing carver, so it's just awesome to have people to rub shoulders with who are doing such a great job in the world of carving, and I'm just so proud of the people who are subscribed to the school. And people in the past who have been, and people who currently are just doing some amazing carving. Yeah, and I'm really grateful for that. So young Sam organized my tools for me, and that's helping out a bit here with being able to find stuff in some ways, but in other ways it's like, where the heck did that one gouge go that I'm always using? It's like, he kind of gave me the rundown of how he organized everything. I told him the gist of it, of how I wanted it to be, and now it's like, wow. It's really nice, but it's also like, where is that one tool? Just curious, you seem to frequently put flowers in your women's sculptures. Is there a reason for this? Or do you just like flowers? Well, I think flowers are beautiful. And yeah, they represent frailty of life. And I mean, they're so temporary. And I think there's a lot of just a nice, I don't know, I like the way it looks. Just simply from a standpoint of aesthetics, it's just nice. I like it. But yeah, I mean, I can't sit here and say that there's a whole definite reason for it, other than I just think they look great together. I think it's cool to put a portrait in context and create context, weave nature into it. That and I don't know, looks cool. It's cool in stuff, right? That's all I got, man. Try not to get in the way of the camera here. I had a really fun opportunity like a couple of days ago to to play music at a venue and then do a live carving. And it's this beautiful, beautiful space that my friend Scott Loudon designed. I mean, just gorgeous brick interior music venue, live performance venue. And I was able to play some songs, which was, gosh, it's something I haven't done in years in that setting, in a formal setting. And I just loved it so much, and I had a lot of fun, and friends showed up, and yeah, I just thought I'd tell you about it. It was a good time. It kind of re-excited me about music too. It was just having to learn the guitar again, to practice the guitar again. It was a lot of fun, and it was kind of mad. It was kind of frustrating because I didn't really have the skills that I used to have. You put something away for a while, and before you know it, it's gone. All that hard-earned skill can go away in a flash, and so it was really fun though to start to get some of that muscle memory back from guitar playing, and then to kind of weave that into carving. It kind of felt, I don't know, it felt a little bit odd, to be honest, but retrospectively, I'm glad I did it, and I had a lot of fun. Just picked up guitar for my church band after 10 years of not playing. The pain is real. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? Thank you, Craig. He said he wishes he could do the female face. Thinks I do a good job. Thank you. Okay, so he said top job. So that makes me wonder if he's from England. I don't hear people from the U.S. saying you do a top job. Tell me if I'm right, Craig. Probably wrong. Yeah, I mean, definitely, man, I've been carving for what, 18 years now? And I mean, like, mostly that's kind of been my gig. I mean, I took a bit off to pursue school, education, and studies, all that stuff. So yeah, that was not a very productive time carving wise, but for the most part, I've been doing this throughout my life, and it took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to even really try to do the female face justice. You know, I felt like it was hit or miss for me, and so I went to visit a friend in North Carolina and in Raleigh, and I decided that I was going to carve a female face every day while I was there. And I kind of gave up on it. I was there and I did a few, and it just didn't look good, and I went back home and I worked on it some more. And eventually, I felt like I got the hang of it. But you know, it's definitely something that you have to practice, and it is way easier for whatever reason to create a big old, wrinkly, gnarled face than it is to carve a smooth, a subtle, young, youthful, beautiful face, whether that's male or female. So that's a struggle. It's a struggle for sure. Sometimes I want to carve outside of the house, like by a river or something. Can you suggest a good piece of equipment that would allow me to set up that rig outside? Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a desire I've had too, and I've done it before. But you know, like set up my carving station out by the water because we live next to a lake. After an art show, just to get some carving done. That was super fun. But yeah, so the suggestion is, it's called the work. Well, they actually Black & Decker made something called a Workmate, but I don't think they make that anymore. The best replacement I've seen for that, and it is probably even better than the Workmate, is the Jaw Horse. Write that down. It's called a Jaw Horse, and it's a tripod, and it's really stable, and it's clamping. And I put a little A-frame fixture in it. I basically just screw 2 pieces of wood together, and almost in the shape of a triangle, but without the base of the triangle, and then I clamp those 2 legs into the jaws of the Jaw Horse, and I use that to mount my fixture to. And that's a really great way of carving when you're not, near a bench, proper setup. That's a great video he had. There's a great video he has when he shows the Jaw Horse in the A-frame. Aha, Craig, I knew it. And maybe I remembered that from seeing you, and if you've been on other videos before, maybe my subconscious remembered you were from the UK, but anyway. Beautiful. Yeah, so one of the things I'm doing, guys, I haven't done this, I've been putting it off, but is going through and starting to make playlists. And I started, so far I've got like a whittling playlist, and then I'm going to do one on like wood carving tips, like educational stuff, and maybe sharpening, all that stuff, and just kind of categorize the videos that I have on YouTube, so it's easier to find them using keyword searches. Because I know a lot of people have trouble finding some of the older videos I've done. I don't know what that is, but maybe it's the fact that when I first started this, no one was watching any of my videos, and YouTube doesn't even think to suggest them to folks, but in the search engine. Either way, not a big deal. Just a heads up that you may have to do some digging if you want to find some of these videos I posted from years ago. For instance, the one on the Jaw Horse. Sometimes it's good to take a step back, and I even like to squint at times just to see what I've got going on and make sure that everything looks like it's working together. better. Love the way you fit from one area to another. I tend to get bogged down in one specific area. I have to take a leaf out of your book and move around the wood more. Thanks, Craig. Yeah, the Kapil Sony. I like that you're amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, it does benefit you to move everything down at, try to hover about. And yeah, I mean, it's easy to get bogged down in one area, and the problem with that is you're hyper focused on one thing, and then you don't see how it ties into the rest of it, the piece. And so when you kind of pitter patter around the whole thing, the thing ends up looking a little bit more cohesive, more as though you considered the way that everything developed, instead of executing one aspect completely. Like, for instance, this face, when it's done, is going to look quite a bit different than it does right now. This is a really rough approximation. A rough approximation. Yeah, but for real, this is not. This is just not gonna the way that it's probably gonna look in the end, and that's okay, because just kind of getting a rough shape of everything. Trying to get the hair blocked in, get some of the movement of the hair. I want that hair to flow nicely and not look static. I want it to look like, there's just a whole story in her, woven into her hair. I mean, I could hide little bugs in here, or little creatures. I'm gonna hide an owl in this corner. Little bird. The other thing is, this was a big flat area, and I don't want it to look like it was a flat block. So you have to do some work to prevent it from looking too flat. And right now it looks pretty flat. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me to take some of the flatness out of it. Basswood, yep, that's right. This is basswood. Yeah, thank you, Dal. I'm glad you appreciate it. Yeah, so yeah, if this is something that you guys, I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again, but if this is something that you guys enjoy, I will do it. I'll consider doing it more often here on. And the idea is, I'll try it again for another week and see what happens. But Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's about what time it is right now. What is it? 30 or 40 after? 40 after? 45. And I'm enjoying it as long as you guys are. Yeah, so there's a real squareness to this part here. I want to get rid of that. Put some twists in her hair. The wood has its own kind of behavior. You have to listen to it. You just have to listen to it. It has opinions. It has a will in a way that likes to be worked. And if you carve in one direction and it doesn't seem to be working, well, that's a good sign that you should be going in a different direction. All right, well. Montage moment says you love the sound of the chisels going through the wood. Such a relaxing sound. That's good. Thoroughly enjoying the demo. Thank you. Glad it is. How thick was the black when you started? Goodness, I don't know, 4 inches, 3.5 inches, 3 inches maybe. Craig agrees. He says that's an awesome way to start the week. Oh, thank you. Would you consider starting an hour later? I don't get back from work until 4:15 GMT. The time now is 15:51. Oh, okay, so 11 a.m. instead of 10? That's possible, Craig. That is very possible. I don't know. The reason I do it in the morning is because I typically have other projects to get to, and it's nice just to take. It's nice to just take the morning to get some carving in, and then get to the rest of my projects. You know, I don't want it to absorb the whole day of the live streaming. As much as I like it, I don't have I have a lot of things to work on, so we'll see. For now, I'm going to stick to the 10 a.m. All right, there you go. Discuss sometime how you do glue up so you don't have to constantly have the grain change issues. Yeah, glue up so you're not having grain changing issues. Well, to be transparent, this actually was a glue up given to me. So this was a block that was, based on looking at it, it was like something about where is the glue joint. I can't even see it. So they did a great job. But I mean that, glue ups are something that you do just want to be conscious of the grain direction and make sure that you're, that when you're gluing it up, things work in such a way to where it's stable. That's the most important thing. For instance, end grain doesn't want to glue up. End grain to end grain isn't great. But yeah, sounds good. Well, sorry about that, Craig. John hasn't had his second cup of coffee yet. His brain's not working. Yeah, me either. I'm on my first cup, so I'm glad that it gets the creative juices flowing, Dave. I'm really glad. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Sometimes watching other people carve is nice. I've been watching Grobovetsky carve recently, and it's nice, relaxing. It's nice to see. And his work is phenomenal. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up in a few minutes. Thanks for tuning in. Excuse me. The wood chips are getting to me. It's getting very dark. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate it. Sterling, that's a new term. Sterling work. Never heard that. Thank you. Nani Booths. Thank you. Have a great day as well. Thank you so much. Jennifer from Idaho Falls. Where can I see more of your work? I love the piece you're working on. Jennifer, I have a number of videos, tons of videos on YouTube where you can see more of my work. But if you want to see a gallery of some photos, you best find me on Instagram, which is my name. If you see in the corner of this live stream, my name should be clear. It's Alec LaCasse, and you can search me up there. I'd love to see you on the Instagrams. So probably the best place to see everything I'm working on. No problem, Mike. Thank you, guys. Hello. Thank you, Craig. You enjoyed the video that I did on the top 5 carvers. Glad Ian Norbury was in. Yeah, and I mean, it was just, I made this video on my, top 5 carvers. Totally an opinion piece, obviously, and, excuse me. And folks commented below on different artists, and I just, I loved that because it reminded me of all these people that I love to see carve and who are amazing world-class portrait carvers. The video is specifically about people that carve portraits, faces, since that's, what I'm qualified to talk about. And there are so many great carvers that folks recommended I check out in the description, and many of whom I've heard of, most of whom I've heard of already. In fact, I think pretty much all of them. But some of them I'd forgotten about and wished I had included in the list. So that being said, I thank you guys for those comments, reminders. All right, guys, another minute or so, and then I'm going to be out of here. Putting this carving aside and working on a commission. Of an owl. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Oh, and thank you for the generous donation from Alex. Appreciate you, man. You are the best. So, anyway, thank you, guys. Appreciate the support, and it's very possible that I'll continue to do this at least next week. You know, um, barring you guys aren't interested, but so far, it's been a blast, and I appreciate you tuning in. So I'll see you guys in the next one. And in the meantime, if you want to, a few of you mentioned learning faces, the female faces. I've got an online school, and I'll link that in the description below once I post this video. And then maybe I'll throw it in the comments. So it's a school devoted to learning portrait carving, and there's many, many videos on there, a lot of content. And it's, the point is to help people learn to carve realistic portraits, especially focusing on, just the human face in general. So that's the point. There's a lot of other projects on there, but mostly that. So I'll link that for those of you interested. And other than that, guys, have a great week. Be blessed. Take your vitamins. Take those vitamins. Thank you very much again to Alex. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jennifer. All right, guys. Bye.